Hi, this is David from MashOT, and tonight we've got another little unboxing. Now, last year we had the G14 in 2021, and we were absolutely in love with that little machine. It was such a fantastic portable little laptop, but there were a couple of gripes. Firstly, there was no webcam, and secondly, the performance was a little bit lackluster compared to some of the other laptops out there. Now this year, hopefully those wrongs have been righted. This is the 2022 ROG G14. I've got the base model in here because everyone else seems to be reviewing the top-end model, so we want to do something a little bit different. Now this comes with a webcam now, and we've got all AMD in here, a much nicer 16:10 screen, so fingers crossed, this should be a nice little laptop. Okay, so let's unbox it. Wow, very nice. So as usual, when you open the box, it lifts the laptop out towards you. It's a really nice little touch. You can see there, the laptop prominent, popped up. Nice little feature like this. It does make a difference when you're buying an expensive laptop. Now, as you can see, we've got the dark grey model here, not the light model. I much prefer a dark grey than a light, just purely because the backlight on the keys shows up so much nicer on a dark laptop. Now, let's see what else we've got in this box. So we have a 240 watt PSU. Looks quite a nice compact little unit. Bear in mind we've got a 14-inch laptop, so having a compact power supply is important. And then we've got our UK power plug. And that's it. There we go, unboxing done. Put that down there. Now, as I mentioned, I've bought the base model. Everyone else seems to be reviewing the upper end G14s, so I want to try something a little bit different. This has got in the Ryzen 6800HS CPU, so still an 8-core 16-thread CPU. It's a 35 watt TDP, but a very good processor. We've got the AMD 6700S graphics card in here. So I'm first time trying one of these, and I'm hoping it's going to at least keep up with a 3060. You can buy this with a 6800S in, and there's plenty of other reviews with that model in there. But I just feel in a chassis this size, with this screen, I think I'm going to be more than happy with a 6700S. Talking of screens, they've moved it to a 16:10 aspect ratio this year, which is something that's really impressed me. I love 16:10, especially when you're working on a laptop. For gaming, 16:9 is nice, but for actual work, 16:10 is by far better, having that extra height on the screen resolution. And this is the 1920 by 1200 144Hz model. They've also included a MUX switch this year, which is very important. Last year you didn't have the option, so it's fine if you're plugging in an external screen because that would go straight to the actual RTX card last year. With a MUX switch, I can have that dedicated card enabled all the time, which gets rid of any driver problems usually, and also you get slightly better performance. Also this year we've got DDR5. You've got one stick is actually soldered onto the board, and the other one you can upgrade. Now this has got 16 gigabytes in it, so 8 gigabyte on board plus another 8 gigabyte stick. You've also got vapor chamber cooling with liquid metal, which is quite nice because obviously these chips do run quite hot, especially in a laptop of this size. So we're going to open it up now and take a look. Wow, that is such a lovely, compact little laptop. Now, I didn't mention, but this is the Animatrix, so we're going to fire this up and sort of have a look at these lights. But it's really, really light, but still feels incredibly solid. Let's have a quick look at the ports whilst we're here. Now, you can see we've got venting at the side, on the left-hand side. We've got our power jack barrel. We've got an HDMI port. We've got a USB-C and a headset jack. Now, if I flip it around, you can see we've got more venting on the right-hand side. We've got a micro SD card slot, which is new for this year, and that is very handy if you are doing some content creation. We've got another USB-C port and 2 USB-A ports. So considering this is a 14-inch laptop, a really nice array of ports there. On the rear of the laptop, you've just got some more exhaust venting. I can see the Zephyrus logo there, so it's a nice touch. The lid, we've got the Animatrix and the little ROG sort of logo, which I don't know if you can see that reflecting there, but it does look very nice. There is a lot of plastics on this model, but it is still incredibly solid. Now, opening up this laptop, one thing you will notice, get rid of the protector there, is it actually lifts up the actual base of the laptop with this ergo hinge. So you're getting much better airflow underneath the laptop. Now for me, this is quite important because one of the things I always do with gaming laptops is I prop the rear end of my laptop up to get that better airflow because these laptops do run hot. So the fact this does it for you just by opening up the hinge saves me a job. So that is a nice little touch. So we've got a nice big trackpad. Feels good. We'll test that in a second. And a well laid out keyboard. One thing I do like is the Asus keyboards. They've got decent keycaps. They feel amazing to type on. This is just like last year. It feels incredible. And then we've got some dedicated media keys at the top, which are very handy. As you see, we've got our webcam this year. So I'm going to quickly fire this up, get into Windows, and then we're going to come back and let's have a look at the performance. Okay, so we're back. We've booted into Windows 11, we've run our updates, and we're now ready to take a quick look around it. So just very quickly, as I mentioned earlier, the touchpad, it's a really lovely side. It's been incredibly responsive. The keyboard has been an absolute joy to type on. You can see it's backlit. It's not the brightest backlight like on some of the Razors, but because it's got a dark keyboard and then we've got the backlight set to white, it looks nice and crisp and clear, so it's easy to see your characters in the dark. At the top, we've got some media keys. We've got volume up and down. We've got the mute microphone and the armoury crate button. So that's a really handy set of keys there, and then a power button on the other side. We've got some status lights right here at the very back, which show you whether you powered on, your hard drive activity, etc. Quite handy. We've also got speakers here. They're exposed, so I think it's got some upward firing and some downward firing. They sound like this. Speaker test at 80% volume. Wow, for a 14-inch laptop, that is really quite impressive. Moving up to the screen, as I mentioned earlier on, because we've got the base unit, this is a 1200p panel. It's still incredibly bright and it feels very responsive. We're going to do a little bit of gaming in a little while, but overall, been really impressed with it so far. And above the screen, we've got the webcam, which looks and sounds like this. And this is what the webcam and the mics look and sound like on the 2022 ROG G14. And another thing that we've got this year that we didn't get last year is we now finally have Windows Hello facial recognition. This has been incredibly responsive and I absolutely love Windows Hello. It's my favourite way of logging into Windows. Now with regards to the internals, we get one Gen 4 M.2 slot. The M.2 they provide is not particularly quick, so if it was me, I would probably upgrade that for myself. We've got 16 gigabytes of RAM on this model, 8 gigabytes of which is soldered on. There's one removable stick. So basically, we could change that one 8GB stick for 16 gigabyte, bumping us up to 24. But 16 gigabytes is enough for most people these days for general use. And if you need 32 gigabytes, if you buy the upgraded 6800S model, you do usually get 32 gigabytes with that one. And as you can see, the laptop has a vapor chamber cooler and 2-fan cooling system, which pumps out the side and the back. And we're going to take a look at the performance when we're running the games. And lastly, we've got quite a large battery in here. I mean, the battery life on this machine looks like it's going to be excellent. I haven't tested it properly. That will be coming in the full review. So to test the performance of this machine, we're going to run Apex Legends. Let's see how well it runs. Now we're starting off running in balanced mode. This has been running for quite a while, and this is at 1200p maximum settings. Now you can see, because we've been running for a while, the temperatures are in the 80s, which is quite hot, but obviously this is quite a tiny and compact laptop running at quite a pelt. Now, you can see here on the stats on the screen, I'm getting about 70 watts overall on this system in balanced mode. And of that 70 watts, about 45 to 55 watts goes directly to the GPU. But you can still see I'm getting over 100 frames per second in this actual Apex max settings 1200p. So this is still more than playable. And this is quite a low fan speed and feels very comfortable. The machine's not getting overly hot other than the internal temperatures. Now, when we change it to turbo mode, you can see now the whole system's getting about 115 watts of power. So this is quite a lot more than the actual balance mode. So we're getting more frames per second. We're getting 85 to 90 watts to the actual GPU and the rest goes to the CPU. But obviously you can see the temps of that CPU is now up to about 95, 96 degrees centigrade, which again, is not dangerous, but it is hot. External temperatures can be warm on the actual chassis itself, but the palm rest and the WASD keys are really comfortable to game on, making this a very nice gaming experience. Now the fan noise on turbo is a fair bit louder than on balanced, but it's not annoying. It's just a constant hum, so it doesn't become distracting. I could even play without a gaming headset on, which is more than can be said for some other gaming laptops. Right, so that leads me to the conclusion. This in the UK is priced at about £1,660. And for that, you're getting an AMD Ryzen 6800 HS CPU, which is a powerful 8-core 16-thread CPU that is very power efficient. And you need that power efficiency because this is a small 14-inch compact chassis. We've also got the Ryzen 6700S, which seems to be a pretty decent GPU, but we will test that thoroughly for the full review. We've got 16GB of RAM and a 1TB Gen 4 SSD, overall making this an incredibly portable and compact, compelling little 14-inch gaming laptop. I mean, this is a machine that you can chuck in a bag with you, take anywhere, and really enjoy it. This is obviously the grey. It does come in a Moonlight White as well, and you can get it with or without the Animatrix. Now, I do love the Animatrix display on the back of the lid, but in all honesty, if you can get it cheaper without, I would recommend you do so, because once you've set it and played around with it for a little bit, you'll never see it again. It's on the back of the laptop. But the choice is there if you do or if you don't want it. Build quality is pretty good. It feels very solid despite some use of plastics in the machine, but using that plastics, firstly, it keeps the weight down. This is incredibly light, about 1.78 kilograms. Really impressive. And also, being that it's plastic, it doesn't radiate the heat out of the machine much like other laptops do. So very often when you're touching an aluminium laptop, they are absolutely scorching because it is radiating the heat off the hot components. Plastic does insulate it a little bit better. So overall, I think this is a fantastic little machine, and certainly a machine I would personally like for myself. Now, there will be the full review coming. It probably takes about 2 weeks to fully test this out and get that full review. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not, and that will be coming shortly. And lastly, thank you for watching.